The mission was simple enough: investigate the strange disappearances of hikers in a national park. I, Sergeant Turner, a seasoned Army veteran, found myself leading a team into a dense, almost suffocating forest. Nature seemed to conspire against us, swallowing every trace of sunlight and replacing it with an eerie gloom that hung heavy in the air. We were tasked with mapping out this uncharted terrain, a routine mission that would soon reveal itself as anything but ordinary. As we trudged deeper into the forest, an uneasy silence was broken only by the occasional rustle of leaves or the distant hoot of an owl. Our boots sank into the damp earth as we navigated the underbrush, the trees looming overhead like silent sentinels. Their gnarled branches reached out like skeletal fingers, almost as if they were eager to snatch at any unsuspecting passerby. The deeper we ventured, the more ominous our surroundings became. A thick fog began to snake its way through the trees, shrouding the path ahead and causing a feeling of unease to settle in my gut. But duty called and we pressed on, despite the growing sense of dread. And then we stumbled upon it. A strange distortion that seemed to warp the very light around it, almost mirror-like. It pulsed with an eerie energy, a soft hum resonating in the air around it. The air shimmered with an unnatural glow, and I couldn't help but feel the hairs on the back of my neck stand on end. Was this the cause of the hikers' disappearances? Was this a portal to another world, or perhaps a trap set by some malevolent force? As we stood there staring at this strange phenomenon, curiosity got the better of us. Against our better judgment, we decided to investigate. The mission had taken an unexpected turn, and we found ourselves standing at the precipice of the unknown. That's when we stumbled upon it. A strange distortion that warped the light around it, almost mirror-like. Curiosity got the better of us, and against our better judgment, we stepped through the portal. The sensation was akin to diving headfirst into the deep end of a pool, the world around us blurring and shifting in ways that defied comprehension. It was as if we were puppets yanked off stage, only to be tossed back into a play where the script had been rewritten and the scenery dramatically altered. Once our vision cleared, we found ourselves standing in a landscape that bore only a faint resemblance to the forest we had left behind. The trees were twisted and gnarled, their branches reaching towards a sky painted an unsettling shade of crimson. The air was thick and heavy, like a blanket draped over our senses, muffling the sounds and dulling the colors. We were mariners adrift in an alien sea, the compass of our understanding spinning uselessly in our hands. The ground beneath our feet pulsed with an unfamiliar rhythm, the heartbeat of a world that was not our own. An oppressive dread settled over us, a creeping realization that we were trespassers in a realm that did not welcome our presence. We could see creatures moving in the shadows, their forms a grotesque parody of the wildlife we were familiar with. The flora, too, was strange and unrecognizable, their leaves a sickly hue, their flowers blooming in disturbing patterns that made your eyes ache. Our radios crackled with static, the comforting hum of communication replaced with a harsh, grating noise that seemed to echo the hostility of our surroundings. We were cut off, isolated in a world that was as beautiful as it was terrifying. Our mission, our purpose, everything that had driven us forward, seemed trivial in the face of the unknown that stretched out before us. The portal, our lifeline to the world we knew, was nowhere in sight. It was as if it had swallowed us whole and then disappeared, leaving no trace of its existence. We were stranded in a place where the rules of nature no longer applied, a world that was as indifferent to our plight as the stars are to the dreams of those who gaze upon them. Suddenly it went silent, dead silent. The oppressive quiet that blanketed the eerie landscape was as abrupt as it was unnerving. The forest, once alive with the rustle of leaves and the distant hoot of an owl, was now a desolate void. The once familiar sounds of nature were replaced with an eerie stillness, a calm before the impending storm. Then, like a specter emerging from the shadows, a mysterious mist began to roll out of the dense forest. It slithered between the gnarled trees, creeping towards us with an almost predatory intent. Within moments, we were enveloped in a thick, heavy fog that clung to our skin and filled our nostrils with a rancid stench. It was like nothing we had ever encountered, a fog so dense it was like wading through a sea of molasses. As we stood there, rifles raised, the mist began to twist and churn around us. It was as though the very air had turned against us, the fog weaving an intricate tapestry of dread that hung heavy in the air. The world around us was obscured by the impenetrable veil, reducing our visibility to mere feet. It felt as if we were standing on the precipice of an abyss, teetering on the edge of an unknown horror. The silence was shattered by a sudden hiss, a sound so alien it made my blood run cold. Then came the clicks, a cacophony of eerie noises that echoed around us. They seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere at once, bouncing off the granite rocks and the surrounding trees. It was an orchestra of terror, a symphony of fear that seemed to emanate from the very heart of the forest. We huddled together, backs pressed against each other, rifles aimed outwards into the swirling fog. Our eyes darted around, desperately searching for the source of the sounds. Every rustle, every shadow, and every movement was a potential threat. It was an ambush. The forest itself seemed to conspire against us. That's when the hissing and clicks started up again. We caught glimpses of movement out the corner of our eyes. The unseen creatures lurked in the shadows, their presence felt but not seen. The attack was imminent, the tension palpable. It was only a matter of time. My squad dwindled as we faced horrors beyond imagination, nameless terrors that lurked in the shadows, waiting for the opportune moment to strike. These abominations, grotesque parodies of nature, were unlike anything we had ever seen. They moved with an uncanny swiftness, their bodies seeming to blur and twist in the dim alien light. One by one, my comrades fell, brave men reduced to mere fodder for these creatures. Each loss was a blow, a brutal reminder of our predicament. We were the intruders here, in this twisted realm where the laws of nature held no sway. We fought back, our rifles barking out in the eerie silence, but it was like trying to hold back the tide. Our bullets seemed to have little effect on the creatures. Their hideous forms absorbed the impacts, shrugging off our desperate attempts at defense as they closed in. The nights were the worst. The darkness in this place was absolute, a shroud that seemed to amplify our fears. We huddled together, backs to each other, rifles at the ready. Our eyes strained in the darkness, every rustle of leaves or soft hiss sending adrenaline coursing through our veins. Food and water became scarce. The plants here were strange, their fruits bitter and metallic. The water was thick, almost viscous, and left a foul taste in the mouth. We rationed what little we had, but it was clear that time was not on our side. Fear became our constant companion, gnawing at the edges of our sanity. The constant vigilance, the gnawing hunger, the chilling isolation. It took its toll. Despair was a luxury we couldn't afford, but it was hard to maintain hope in the face of such overwhelming odds. I, Sergeant Turner, am now the sole survivor, haunted by the memories of that ill-fated journey. I carry the weight of my fallen comrades, their final moments etched into my mind. I am a living testament to their bravery, a beacon of their sacrifice. I bear the scars of our struggle, both seen and unseen, a grim reminder of the nightmare that waits in the depths of that forest. As I recount this tale, I can't shake the feeling that the portal still lingers in the depths of those woods, a hidden menace waiting for the next hapless explorer to stumble upon its malevolent grip. It's as if I can still feel its chilling hum, a resonance that echoes in the silent corners of my mind, a constant reminder of the horrors that unfolded. The familiar landscape of the forest, once a sanctuary of natural beauty, is now tainted by the unseen terror that lurks within. The trees, once silent guardians, stand as eerie sentinels guarding the threshold to a realm where nightmares take form. The dangers are not only physical but psychological. The forest, once a place of peace and serenity, now harbors an entity that bends the very fabric of reality. Time and space distort around its presence, and the laws of nature as we know them are rendered obsolete, replaced by an uncanny physics that defies comprehension. The creatures that inhabit this realm are a grotesque mockery of life as we know it. They slither and skulk in the shadows, their hisses and clicks a chilling soundtrack to a landscape devoid of natural sounds. Their forms, a grotesque amalgamation of the familiar and the bizarre, embody the very essence of terror. These entities are not just predators, but harbingers of an alien reality that threatens to consume our own. They are the denizens of a world where the line between life and death, reality and nightmare, is blurred beyond recognition. I implore you, heed my warning. The forest is no longer a safe haven but a hunting ground for horrors beyond our understanding. The portal, a gateway to a realm of terror, remains hidden, its location known only to the unfortunate souls who have crossed its threshold and lived to tell the tale. I am one such soul, Sergeant Turner, the last survivor of a doomed expedition. My tale is a testament, a dire warning of the dangers that lurk unseen in the heart of the forest. I can only hope that my warning reaches those who dare to venture where they shouldn't. A cautionary tale etched in the blood-soaked soil of that accursed forest. Dive into the abyss of the dark and mysterious, a realm teeming with gruesome goodies designed to make your stomach churn and toes curl. The Amazon affiliate link, waiting in the description, is your ticket to this world. Don't hesitate, explore the unexplored. Who knows, you might just find your new obsession. And so, our tale of the Campfire Horrors comes to an end. Until next time, sleep tight. Before we part ways, dear viewers, remember to stay vigilant. The Campfire Horrors may have been extinguished for now, but the embers of the unknown always remain. As you lay down to sleep tonight, don't forget the lessons from our tale. Safety is but a fleeting moment in a world of unseen. So, if you've enjoyed this journey into the abyss, don't forget to ring that bell and smash that like button. Do it before the thing under your bed decides to pay you a visit. Oh, and keep those night lights on. You never know what might be lurking in the dark. Thank you for embarking on this terrifying adventure with us. Until our paths cross again in another tale of the unknown. Goodbye and sweet dreams, if you can.